Alright guys, a couple of points that I want to look at here in this video are unrealistic expectations that a lot of golfers have in regards to what is achievable through practice, coaching, etc. And how all shots that curve to the right are not produced by an over-the-top golf swing. There are a couple of things that have come up recently when coaching people that I thought I'd discuss in a short video. So one of the benefits of using a system is that we can start to identify key areas and make it easier to achieve certain things in the golf swing on a consistent basis. On the left, I'm just knocking a few shots down on the range. I think one of the things that everybody agrees on, irrespective of the system we use, is that we play golf. When playing golf, we swing on an arc. That arc is on a tilted angle. And the centre of that arc is the left shoulder, as I've illustrated with the blue line. So if we apply the principle that as long as we hit the ball before the centre of the arc, before the low point of the swing, we will always have a path that is from in to out. We don't necessarily need to manipulate anything. All things being equal, without doing anything excessively, if I hit the ball before the centre of the arc, I'm going to be producing a path that is from the inside. Now that might be in varying degrees, but it's going to be a predictable path. So there are different ways of doing that. Some more efficient than others. Every coach will have their own preference. I've got mine. But really what we're looking for is some sort of predictability with the swing. To expect to hit every shot perfectly is unrealistic. If you understand the basic principle of hitting the ball before the low point of this arc, before the left shoulder, then your ability to make solid contact is going to improve. And you're going to do it in a more predictable manner. Whenever you do anything in a more predictable manner, you start to build confidence, you start to get familiarity, and more importantly, you start to get consistent. And that's what everybody's after. Everybody comes for a lesson. I want to be more consistent. So first thing is to establish some sort of consistency with as little manipulation as possible. And I know that as long as you or me, or you or I, hit that ball before the blue line, we're going to be attacking it from the inside. Now once we're attacking it from the inside, if we look at James here on the right, James has done a lot of work on his swing recently with me, and his approach into the ball is improved dramatically. I put a green spot on where the sweet spot is. Delivery at P6 when the shaft's parallel with the ground in the downswing, and we can see that it's fractionally in behind the butt end of the golf club, so slightly in. And what that does for James is it produces a path of about 4 degrees. That would be his normal path. Swing direction's pretty neutral. The path of the club, because we've had him on flight scope, we know that it's about 4 degrees. It's not 4 degrees every time, but generally speaking, it's round about the 4 degrees. Swing path never goes to the left. Sometimes gets a little bit further inside than the 4, but generally speaking, about 4 degrees. So for the sake of this video, we're going to say that every time he hits the ball, it's coming out the middle of the club face, and his path is 4 degrees. Now, for a lot of people, that's the holy grail. Everyone thinks, right, well, if I do that, I'm never going to hit a bad shot again. I'll never hit it offline, etc., etc. Not true. Unrealistic. Could James curve the ball to the right with that swing? 100%. And it was quite an interesting session. The guy who I was recently speaking to about this had the club coming more from the inside than James, but was being told by his previous coach that he was coming over the top of it because the ball was curving to the right. And whenever the ball curves to the right, you've come over the top of it. Well, what the ball flight is telling us, providing we're at the middle of the club face, it's telling us what the relationship is between the face and the path. Seems pretty obvious. I think most people understand that, most people accept that. But when they're out playing golf, most people don't apply that general rule. They see the ball curve offline and they think they've made a different swing, a bad swing. It's just not necessarily the case. I'm not saying it isn't. on the odd occasion. But you know, James is spending a long time on the range. The other gentleman in question spending a lot of time on the range, working on the mechanics, developing a certain move. There's a good chance that when they go on the golf course, that's the move that they demonstrate pretty much every swing they make. So what's happening on the bad shot? Well, on the bad shot, we've already said that we're going to say James is making a path of 4 degrees from in to out, as illustrated by the yellow arrow. And ideally what James would want to achieve here is a club face that was slightly open to the target, maybe 2 degrees, but close to the path. So we achieve that. Just trying to get the numbers up there for us. Then what's going to happen is we're going to get the golf ball starting slightly right and then curving back towards our target. So that's the goal for James. That's what he's trying to achieve. A club face that is slightly to the right with a path that is further to the right to produce the little draw shot he wants. So if ever the club face, if we use the club face to path relationship, if the club face is to the left of the path, the ball curves left. If the club face is to the right of the path, the ball curves right. And if you use that general rule, you know, I mean, golf's being analysed to death at the moment, and that analysation that's being done is great for us to learn things and, you know, learn the details of the swing more clearly. Having said that, when we go out and play, what we need to apply are some general rules. In the real world, when there's a bit of wind blowing and there's an uneven lie, we need general rules. If the face is to the right of the path, the ball curves right. If the face is to the left of the path, the ball curves left. If you're having coaching sessions and you see your swing on video and you're on the FlyScope or TrackMan, you'll know what your general path is anyway. So you'll be able to sort of, you know, derive things from it and make the correct alterations. So if we have a little look at the scenario we had with the other gentleman, he was hitting a shot that started slightly right of target and then curved further right of target. And he was being told that he'd come over the top of it. What the gentleman in question actually had was a path of about 4 to the right, but a club face that was about 6 to the right. So his ball was always starting right at target and always going away from his target, simply because his club face was open to his path. He couldn't have been coming less over the top of it if he tried. This guy would never ever come over the top of a golf shot unless he went out his way to do so. So, you know, the ball flight will tell you what the relationship between the path of the club and the face angle is, but it won't necessarily tell you what that path is. You will know what your path is because of the work you're doing out on the range. And when you work on the swing, you're videoing it, you're looking at it at the monitor, etc. So all shots that curve to the right does not mean you have come over the top of it. It means that the face angle was very open to the path. Your job is to try and create a predictable path. And going back to the left-hand image, if you can learn to hit the ball before the centre of the arc, you're going to have a path that's coming from the inside in varying degrees pretty much every time. What you've then got to do, by practice, by feel, by adding detail during your coaching sessions, is gain an understanding of how to produce a face angle that is slightly to the right but not as far to the right as the path. And that's going to give you that little draw shot that you're looking for time and time again. I hope this helps shed some light on a couple of sort of tricky situations that golfers fall victim to. And over the years I've sort of had really unrealistic expectations of myself as a player, and often made changes to the swing that didn't need to be made. By applying a system, by understanding your ball flight in more detail, and what creates your ball flight in more detail, it can only help improve your game, enhance your scores, and make your enjoyment of the sport much greater. So good luck with it. Hope you have a great season in 2016.